Thanks for joining us. By connecting to Hixny, you join the majority of healthcare providers in Eastern New York who have chosen to gain access to the region's most up-to-date, accurate patient information at their fingertips. In this quick video, we'll address the basic information you need to understand as a new Hixny user. To earn your access to Hixny, you must watch this video all the way through. Your viewing time is tracked, so no skipping ahead. Let's get started. Hixny is a health information exchange, usually called an HIE for short. HIEs are the fastest and most secure way to share patient information among different healthcare facilities. That's why you should use Hixny whenever you are preparing for a patient visit, at the point of care, and when you are participating in a transition of care. How important is Hixny? In 2016, we identified 5 random patients who were treated at a local hospital on the same day. We compared their records from the hospital's electronic health record, or EHR system, to their Hixny records. Hixny had critical information for 3 out of the 5 patients that the hospital EHR was missing, including drug allergies, lab work, and test results. That's vital information when you're talking about patient care. It's also one reason why today nearly all hospitals and the vast majority of providers in Eastern New York, north of New York City, use Hixny. This includes traditional healthcare providers, mental health and behavioral health providers, and many others. And Hixny's reach is not limited to providers only in our region. The statewide Health Information Network for New York, also called the SHINY, connects HIEs in each region of the state to ensure patient information is shared seamlessly. If you ever have a question about what organizations and practices are contributing information or what data is available through Hixny, visit hixny.org/partners to view a frequently updated list. Now that you know a little bit more about what Hixny is, let's talk about how Hixny works. If a patient visits a primary care physician, specialist, or other practitioner, the provider records the details of their visit in their EHR, just like they normally would. Through a Hixny connection, that information becomes available to any other facility or practice the patient visits. So, for example, if the patient goes to a hospital, the hospital can see their records from the PCP, and the PCP can see the details of the patient's hospital visit. This allows for the patient's entire healthcare team to collaborate based on the most complete information available from all providers. But it's important to know that the patient is in charge of all of these interactions. In New York State, healthcare providers must collect one-time consent from each patient before they can see the patient's medical history. This means the patient must sign a Hixny consent for every provider they visit, as long as the provider is connected to Hixny. There is no blanket Hixny consent. This is because a patient's file could include sensitive information, like behavioral health, sexual health, or substance abuse history, that they don't want every provider to see. And while a patient's consent never expires, if they choose to withdraw consent for any provider, they are able to do that at any time. If a patient is under 18, their parent can choose to give consent and provide you with access to the child's record on their behalf. Please be aware that New York state law gives children the right to block access to certain sensitive data in their own records, such as sexual history and substance abuse information. If a child exercises this right, you will not be able to see information through Hixny. You may be thinking, what if it's an emergency and a patient physically can't give their consent? Emergency providers have the ability to access records without consent under a very specific set of circumstances. Providers who have this ability to break the glass receive further training to be sure they are prepared to use this access appropriately. Now let's talk security. A patient's medical history is secure when it's exchanged through the HIE, and you play a part in ensuring it remains that way. Don't forget to log out after each use so patient information isn't left on screen when you walk away. If you do leave the window open, the connection will shut down if you're idle for too long. Also, your account will lock you out if you don't access it regularly. We suggest logging in once a week to prevent this from happening. If you do become locked out, reach out by emailing support@hixny.org or calling us at 518-640-0021 and choosing option 2. Your access to Hixny is governed by HIPAA, New York State and federal law, and by all regulations related to substance abuse and mental health data. We take security seriously, so Hixny meets or exceeds federal and state regulations about how patient information is stored, used, and shared. Hixny is protected by the same technology used by the military, law enforcement, and leading financial institutions. This ensures a patient's medical history is available when a provider needs it, while remaining secure. To make sure Hixny follows those regulations and protects patient information, we complete security inspections and exercises on a regular basis. That requires us to make sure you're complying with privacy regulations. So every time you access Hixny or take action, such as viewing a record, that transaction is logged. All transaction logs are reviewed periodically as part of our security procedures. Want to learn more? You can read all of our policies and procedures or view additional training videos at hixny.org. Select Login, then choose Hixny Academy and enter the email associated with your Hixny account to gain access to the library. If you ever have a problem, we are available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're able to resolve most problems while you're on the phone with us. However, if we can't fix it immediately, we will open a service request and update you regularly about our progress. You can always reach out to ask about your case, too. Have specific questions? Contact the Hixny representative within your organization, or reach out to us by emailing support@hixny.org or calling us at 518-640-0021 and choosing option 2. And remember, think Hixny first whenever you are preparing for a patient visit, at the point of care, or participating in a transition of care.